Easy guys, so a lot of people keep asking me, am I still in my BTC short? Yes, I am. I've been in this short for a while now. We've been looking at this playing out for some time, and I'm sure you've probably seen this across socials before. This was the previous all-time high for Bitcoin, and then we went into a bear market, so massive bull run into a bear market. This was the previous all-time high, so again, massive bull run into a bear market. And, it would be crazy for me, considering I'm a person who follows data, and this isn't the only indicator that says we're getting close to a top. There's loads of other different indicators that indicate that we are getting very, very close to a top. And, I would kick myself if I didn't take a short around this range, because history says that we're going to do something like this, right? History says we're going to repeat here. Not only have we touched this top, we also have almost an exact identical M pattern forming on these yellow resistance levels that we had last cycle, right? Which led us into a correction. Then we have previous support down here as well. So we've got just way too much confluence here that we might get a rejection here. Another reason I'm quite interested in shorting this is because I took a short on Ethereum last cycle. I found the post here. Look, I posted here on X. Why am I still holding my BTC short open? Well, social media froth managed to shake me out of my ETH short last cycle, and it was actually the top for ETH. So I posted in my group last cycle saying, I've placed a little short on ETH as we've hit the top res on the rising wedge. So you guys know I love a rising wedge. Most of the time these things crash to the downside, and they usually crash 60 to 70% of the way into the wedge. And then ironically, where we placed the short, I mean, look at the price we placed the short. It was like 4.8k, and it was pretty much the exact top of Ethereum last cycle. And it was very hard to hold the short open because the price was dumping, and then the price would pump, and everyone on socials would be like, we're going higher, we're going higher. And it was very hard to short here because everyone was frothing at the mouth. Everyone was saying higher, higher, higher. ETH's going to 10k. Ethereum's going to change the world. And don't forget, ETH was a lot more hyped then than it is now, and there was so much hype and froth, and socials was just filled with higher, we're going higher. No one was taking profits. Like I started to buy around $200 Ethereum, so I watched it go from $200 to $4,800, and it's like a 20x in a very short amount of time. And I don't know why. I think I'd done a lot of studying. Probably a lot more than the average person. I was doing a delivery driving job, and I was studying crypto 8 hours a day on my job, right? So I was working 6 nights a week and doing 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day of studying, just listening to videos, trying to find the smartest people in crypto. And luckily, I found the right people who taught me about rising wedges and patterns, and how you actually need to get bearish when everyone is bullish on socials and everyone is like buy. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful are the best sayings that I've found. And that's why I was short, and I was looking for short entries, and I'd taken a lot of profits off the table as well. But I just want to get to you guys. That's why I'm kind of still holding this short open. I don't want to make the same mistake I made last cycle. And, I started to short Ethereum around here somewhere. And it was the top, right? I would have made a killing. I would have made fortune. But I ended up taking profits for like 300%. I mean, look, it's money, right? I'm not going to complain. But, I took like 200, 300%. And I would have made an absolute life-changing amount if I'd have just stuck with my conviction and held that open. So I'm not listening to socials. Once I've placed this bet, it's either going to get liquidated, right? We're going to push to the upside, or it's going to pay out. They're the only two things. There's people on socials, even people in my community are like, are you sure this is right? It doesn't matter whether I think I'm sure I'm right? I've placed a bet, and it's a deterministic bet. It's either going to get liquidated or it's going to print some money. I'm not going to change my decision because I've already made my decision based on technical analysis, right? Now, I think two things are going to happen this cycle. A lot of people are watching this level, specifically this level, because it's hit here. It was the top. A lot of people are expecting it to be the top, and we haven't quite come up and tapped that level. Now, there's two things that I think might happen here. A lot of people are going to go short when we tap this yellow line. So it's around 114, 115k. I actually started to short at 107. I started to short early. Well, why did you start to short early if you think that this is the resistance? Because what happens when a lot of people are watching a level is it can sometimes get front run, and there may be a lot of limit short orders here. And then the market makers know if they push it up here, they're kind of stuck because all of these shorts get placed and they have to try and liquidate those shorts. And it might be very hard for them to do that, right? It doesn't take so much to bring the price down because they just sell their hodl bags, right? They sell their billions and billions of Bitcoin, and then they just buy it back up. It's very, very easy to just sell all of your Bitcoin, buy it back up, price moves to the upside. What's difficult is to keep raising cash and cash and cash, to keep buying and buying and buying and actually drive the price up. That's very, very difficult. And if all of these shorts do get triggered here, they are going to have to try and liquidate those. And I don't think that we're going to come up and tap this level and it's going to be the squeakiest, cleanest short ever, right? I do think it's either going to get front run and it's going to dump before that level, or it's going to absolutely break through it and skyrocket. I'd be very, very surprised if we come up, we tap it, and then we go down because so many people are waiting to put shorts on here. So that's kind of how I'm trading it at the moment. If we do come up and tap this level and close above, I do think we are going to see much higher prices, guys. I really do. If we tap this level and close above, a lot of people are going to put shorts on here and then they'll try and liquidate those shorts. So it might actually be a better strategy to try and work out where those shorts are going to get liquidated. So look at the heat maps and then try and maybe play shorts around that area. I'm probably prepared to place 1 to 3 shorts for the top. I'm not doing this with large amounts, guys. I'm talking about 1% or 2% of my portfolio max. And the amount of money I've made since buying in the bear market down here is ludicrous. So I'm more than happy to risk 1 or 2 or 3% on trying to short the top of the market because, it can potentially return life-changing gains. Now, there is a couple of different levels that I'm looking at if it does push higher, but I'm probably only going to do 3 lots of 1%, okay? So that means I'm only risking 3% of my portfolio, and if I get those 3 attempts wrong, then I'll probably stop trying to short, right? So if we do push up like this and we break above, obviously my first short's going to be liquidated, and then I'll look for another short, and then maybe one more short at like 150 because it's a massive psychological number. I'm not going to sit here and try and short, and I'm not going to try and sit here and short with 5% or 10% of my portfolio. I think allocating 3% of my portfolio is very, very low risk. And, even if I lose 3%, that's fine. And, I'm out. I tried to short. I pretty much nailed it last cycle. You can still see my TA here from last cycle where we shorted. Look. And, if I was right on this short, I would have made so much USDT to buy this bear market dip. And I don't want to make that mistake again. I had a lot of conviction here. I was talking about this rising wedge for so long. I was saying, this is kind of what happens towards the end of a market. You get these parabolic rises. It keeps going up. It feels like it's going to go up forever. And then you go into a bear market and it's absolutely devastating. And, most people end up losing, right? So, yeah, same here almost. Went into like a sort of... a really steep climb here in the previous cycle. Okay, so that's it, guys. Yeah, that's really what I'm looking at, and I'm really sort of confident. It's been amazing cycle. People forget how much things have pumped, right? I found this post that I posted from 2023, and I said here they called us crazy. They sold the bottom. We kept on buying even when the world was melting because the banks were collapsing. Everyone was going doomsday. And we just kept on buying, right? The worse things got, the more we would accumulate the dips. And, it paid off massively. And then I said, those who survive the dump deserve the pump. Welcome to the bull run. It's been a crazy cycle. So many things went parabolic and really rallied. And we didn't get greedy, right? We slowly took profits in these massive rallies when things were skyrocketing. This is weekly candles, guys, not daily, right? This is weekly candles. And everything started skyrocketing. And, the SMC bot pretty much called the bottom on a lot of these moves as well. So, that's really helped us out. I'm so looking forward to the next cycle. I don't think it's going to come around overnight, guys. I think it is going to be a slow, sluggish way. And I am interested in taking some shorts all the way down. I think it's been an amazing run. I mean, look at this. Bitcoin was 16,000. What an absolute rally. It's almost just been going up and up and up and up vertically. Can we break this resistance? It's possible. It's possible. Have a strategy for either outcome. I mean, this is why I'm only trading with 3%. If I didn't think there was a chance that BlackRock might just keep buying, I wouldn't be trading with 3%, right? I'd be trading with a lot more, but I'm not trying to be too greedy. I've made a lot of money this cycle. I'm not trying to give my gains back to the market, and that's why I've just been DCAing out. I'm definitely taking less risks around this range. Down here, when everything's down 70%, you'll see me acting wild, right? When we're down 70%, like if Bitcoin comes down 50, 60, 70%, if altcoins come down 95%, you'll see me buy, right? Buying 1%, 3%, 5%. When we're in this kind of range here and we don't really know if we're about to break out and push up, or we don't know if we're about to completely nuke and reverse, it's not really a position of strength, is it, right? And we know that markets are likely going to trend up over time. We know that Bitcoin's been going up for like 14 years now, consistently over time. It's not really in our favor to be trying to short with 20%, 30%, or taking any kind of crazy risks here. So yeah, I'm just gonna. I've entered. I think I've put 1.6% on around this short, and maybe I'll enter a couple more. Maybe I won't. Right? Maybe the macro changes and the USA start a strategic reserve and with plans to just keep bagging up, and maybe BlackRock come out with plans to buy more, or maybe there's more adoption. It can always change, right? The strategy can always change. The markets are moving very, very fast, but for now, I'm still in my short. It's moving all over the place. It went from like a $6,000 loss to a $15,000 profit, and I'm just chilling. I'm not really getting sucked into what it's doing. I mean, look, we're just going sideways. If you think about it, since November 24, we're still at the same price we were in November, right? Not much has changed. Yeah, that's it for now, guys. If you want to get involved with us, if you want to see my buy and sell alerts, if you want to see my portfolio, we've started to dig into some stocks recently. We've started to add some stocks for the portfolio for next cycle. Head over to my X account. Here you can see the name of the account, and if you click on that, that will take you to the Patreon, where you can join in and get involved in the Discord. And you also get the SMC bot as well. So you get the SMC bot that gives all of the buy and sell signals on these assets as well. That's it for now, guys. Don't forget, none of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in anything, especially crypto, is highly risky. You should always do your own research before investing in anything. I am not a financial advisor. That's it. Catch you in the next one.